Good afternoon and welcome to TalkSports. It is our weekend program, Saturday Sports Special to be exact. And as indicated on this weekend's program, we'll be speaking Intercol. Intercol 2026. That's the Intersecondary Schools Athletics Championships in Grenada, scheduled for March 17th to the 19th. Yeah, 2026. Next month, right? Yeah. So we'll be speaking to the president of the president of the Grenada Association of Principals of Secondary Schools. That's Mr. Carl Andall, who's also the principal of the McDonald College. And he is expected to be joined by the meet director for the Intercol Championships, Mr. Johnell Mitchell. We do hope that we have both gentlemen. Well, Mr. Andall was on shot a while ago, but he's just getting some things organized. So we give him a few moments to be on. And so Rudy and Sylvan will join me in Toronto for our program today, Valentine's Day 2026. Yes. So as indicated, we'll be speaking about Intercol 2026. Let me say good afternoon to Rudy and Sylvan in Toronto. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Michael. How are you doing today? Happy Valentine's Day. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this to you, but but to all the listeners, a happy Valentine's Day to all.
Valentine's to all. Yeah.
Certainly, it's a good day, and it's always a good day to talk sports, especially Intercol. It's exciting.
All right, and as usual, we have our folks that's joining us already. Mr. Edwin Sam, good afternoon to you, Edwin. And let me say good afternoon to Mr. Carl Andall, the president or chairman of the Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, and he's also the principal, proudly, of the McDonald College. I think it was the big day for McDonald College on Friday. Yesterday, it was their athletics championship, so probably we'll get a little taste from Mr. Andall. But how things, Mr. Andall? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Rudian.
Yeah,
still in the recovery mood from yesterday.
I was about to say, I know the whole week for you has been less sleep, so surprised. I know tomorrow you're going to sleep, so today we're going to have you on.
Thank you very much. So it was a hectic week thus far. And tonight we still have the twilight relays at the 4 recreation ground. So it's all about athletics action at 4.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yes. It will be hectic. And I know, and you do have lights at the 4 recreation, right?
Lights?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we have lights and we have bleachers.
Everything.
And the GFA who years ago. Kudos to them.
Yeah. I know about the bleachers, but I was always wondering about the lights, But okay, well, good to know. So that should be.
And the lights is still second to the National Stadium.
Okay, all right. Well, that's great. So that should be a nice vibe later, man.
Very much so.
Yeah, that's good to know. Let us, as an icebreaker, as preparations intensify for Intercol 2026, and I know you would have, as you said, it was a busy week, so I assume in terms of meetings for preparing for Intercol and all of that. How would you describe the current mood among schools, the athletes, the organizers for, the big week of Intercol come next month?
The build-up is fantastic thus far. And just to remind you, we had our official launch on Tuesday at the Grenada Trade Center. And after the launch, tickets have went online for sale to go to FET, as well as Grenada Optical. So generally, there's a good vibe, and you can already see the buzz on social media, and that augurs well for us. Intercol is a fantastic product. So in terms of promotion, yes, we do promotion, but the promotion is already there. It's on the hearts and minds of Grenadians. And I don't know if you see after SAS Sports, there was an AI photo on Facebook showing the GBSS coaches, past students. Well, I guess Mr. Bascom might be in that picture also, going back to the drawing board based on what he saw in SAS. So I must say the build-up is real fantastic. And at the Principal Association, we are trying our best to build on that. Very soon we'll be launching our torch run, the one that we had last year.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and this goes also towards the build up to Intercol.
Intercol, yeah, that's good to know. And and as chairman of the Grenada Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, what does Intercol mean to you beyond the competition? I know people are a lot intrigued about the competition itself, but there's well, for me and probably for Rudian and certainly for you and others, there's something more than the competition. What does Intercol mean to you beyond just the competition, Mr. Andall?
Well, I would say that you're asking something that you know the answer to, but you see, Intercol is the climax of a lot of different things. Because, mind you, athletics is the foundation of all sports and it's very, very special. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the times, most of the fans and the patrons, they always focus on what happens on the day, the 3 days of Intercol. But as you correctly said, it's much more than that. Right. Because if you are deeply involved in the sport and you know the sacrifice, the commitment, the discipline, everything that is really, really take to get to that stage, then you get to appreciate it. So yes, the competition is important. Persons have the hype, all sorts of things. But for those of us who are more deeply involved, we know exactly what does it take. It shows character, and it does a lot to build all participants, not just the student athlete themselves. Because sometimes even you as an administrator or you as a coach, you really get to appreciate. So, and that's why persons always tell you that once a child make it to the finals, or even they are good enough to compete at the big stage, they must be applauded for that. And kudos to them as well as the parents and anybody who made contribution to the reaching thus far. So I'm in full agreement with you. It's much more than the competition. Although the ordinary fans, they don't see it that way. Because as far as they're concerned, yeah, they come on the day and they shout and they make noise. So let's imagine they're supporting Rudian. And they say, go Rudian, go. And in the end, Rudian did not make it to the top 3. Yeah. You're upset with Rudian, and you hear comments like, oh God, no matter how much I tell Rudian go, Rudian won't go.
Yeah. But overall, there is that sort of, I know there is the build-up, the excitement. Even probably within the next week or two, when you get closer to Intercol, and you know the bantering on social media in particular, which kind of builds the vibes, right? Because then people start getting into it, and well, for those who know about it, I know there are those who take it a little personal, but those who know about the banter, you know what I mean? They know, okay, it's all about going in and support your various schools. Then they starting to put up things about the various athletes, all these sort of things. If there is a meet or two prior to Intercol, just before Intercol, people get an idea again of some of the athletes who represent in various schools, and the buzz is on for Intercol. Nothing comes between the support and Intercol itself. Before I go on to Rudian with this question, what role, GAPS, as you said, Intercol was launched this week, but what role does GAPS play in shaping the overall vision and the standards of Intercol?
Well, we have GAPS as well as the Grenada Games Association, which is 2 different organizations, but it's the same thing, because the chairman of GAPS is the head of the Games Association, which is the official planning committee. However, we realize that it's difficult for a planning committee to work separate to the schools. So there's a lot of intertwining taking place. So we have GAPS, and on the Games Association, we still have a representation of GAPS, because Intercol, the involvement of the schools, of all the various schools at Intercol, is what makes it special. So you might find if sometimes somebody decide, hey, you know what? Let's remove Intercol from the school. Let's remove Intercol from the principals and do it on our own. That could be disastrous. And I remember a few years ago, that was tried. And as the principals, we had great fun with that, because really and truly, persons believe that they could have used resources, a lot of resources, to create that kind of product. And they learned the hard way that, hey, the schools had to be involved one way or the other. So as we speak, we have on the planning committee, and that's the special thing about it. On the planning committee, we have a lot of specialists. So, for example, we have persons who are responsible for engaging the media. That person is not a principal. We have somebody responsible for liaising with different companies for sponsorship. That person is also not a principal. On that committee, we also have the IOGPF.
For security, yeah.
Right, yes. So we have specialized areas, and then we come back to the principal. So each school have a role to play at Intercol, and then we have bringing the specialists on the outside to kind of enhance the product. But for GAPS, where we are concerned, we see it as a platform to develop our youth. And as you say, athletics is extremely special, is the mother of all sports. And we see it as an opportunity to effect change. Because I don't know why, strangely, a lot of our talented athletes, some of them could be very volatile. And we all know that. But those talented ones, once they have ability in the athletics, we could use that to kind of channel the energies and the resources towards a positive light. Combined with GAPS, and I'm always talking about that, we really want to develop a program. We want to help all the schools to develop an athletics program. I was asked that question this week at the launch, and the answer that I gave is that GAPS by itself cannot do it alone. So in other words, GAPS, yes, we organize Intercol, but it takes much more than organizing Intercol to help school develop an athletics program. So I made mention to the National Sports Council, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Sports, and even the private sector, where if they come on board and we come up with a plan, after a while, notwithstanding what school a child attend, they will be able to do well. And you know what, Mr. Bascom, I know without a doubt, and you know the same thing too. That would drastically improve the standard of athletics. Our pool of athletes is very, very small. And too much times, based on the school a child gets, when they pass CPA, we lost that talent.
That's true. Rudian?
No, certainly, Mr. Andall, you are totally right on that one fact. And we've seen it happen over the years. And over the years, from before my time into Intercol to now, as Bascom said, that we have seen the hype. In this time that we have the social media, that kind of making Intercol more, excited, more than in our time, because we didn't have the social media, we didn't have that kind of thing where people, getting involved as much as they are today. So certainly, going back to the organization, I certainly know that it's hard planning. It's not easy. You guys cannot do it alone. Principal cannot do it alone. Last year when I was part of the hosting our high school championship, it was a challenge. It takes almost a year to plan. So certainly it is not an easy task. So I kudos to you guys, to putting things together and not doing it alone. Involving people, that you guys can use for resources, and that is always a plus. So kudos to you guys. I always start with on the track with questions. What new events you added this year, or is it just the same as the past?
No new events.
Okay, so everything is still the same.
Yeah, everything is still the same because what we realize, we have to be very careful. We moved from 2 days to 3 days, and a lot of new events were included, and that has increased the workload of the athletes. We also having an issue, something we have to address in the not too distant future, where because we have 3 days last year and the year before, we find athletes doing 7 or even 8 events, and that by itself is a cause for concern.
So is there a conversation, a discussion in terms of expanding, in terms of from 3 to 4 days, the possibility, so that there can be rest and recuperation and possibly even addition of events?
The conversation to increase the Intercol to at least 4 days must come with what we spoke about in a previous program, the athletes village in a central area. Because I am telling you, traveling for 3 days is hard. I cannot even imagine traveling for 4 days. Athletes from Satters and St. Andrew and so traveling for 4 days to St. George's to come and perform. However, though, regarding events, Well, we have most of the events that's normally on the program. Perhaps we don't have pole vaults. Can you help me here? What else?
Steeplechase.
Right, we don't have the pole vault and the steeplechase, and everybody knows the reason why.
And the decathlon, for example, is another.
Yeah.
You know.
Remember, we have multiple events for both male and female.
Yeah, but I said decathlon because you know, we know that is an area that of recent
Yes.
our athletes are, you know, competing in and doing well in particular. Yes, we do have the multi, I think it's the pent and the hep. Okay?
Yes, correct.
Right, the pent and the hep, but in terms of the decathlon. But yes, we do have the multi events. But as you say, the steeplechase, and there's one or two other events that
the steeplechase, the pole vault. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Jamaica games is about 5 days, isn't it?
It is 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, it is 5. But yet still, the program is well structured, and the athletes have more time for recuperation. Because in some cases, you see, they perform in the morning, you have that big break, and then they come back to the afternoon. We on the other hand, we don't have that luxury. We start about 9-10, we have perhaps about hour break, and then the athletes come back and perform. So increasing the number of events could be a very good thing, but we have to be very careful because of our dynamics in Grenada.
Well, and in addition to that, for the Jamaicans, the athletes from the schools and the outer parishes, they actually stay in Kingston for the week. You know,
Actually, stay in Kingston.
Yeah, they stay in Kingston for the week. In fact, some of them stay in hotels. You know, all these sort of things. It's big, so you know they do that.
But you know, in a previous program, we spoke about SGO building in Grenada.
Right.
Is it still empty?
As far as I know, yeah, as far as that's the one in the beach area itself there. Yeah,
correct. Yes.
Yeah, the last time I passed in that area a few months ago, yeah, it was almost in ruin. You know, that again, it could be a possibility as a games village. Yeah, so it's something that can be under discussion for. I mean, we spoke about that last year. Here we are again 1 year later. So it's probably something we may have to press on following Intercol 2026, looking forward to 2027, you know, looking at possibilities that could, you know, make this thing a reality. But moving on, how important is you see is school leadership in terms of ensuring, you know, and you mentioned some of the qualities, discipline. You mentioned some things like fairness, student welfare during the championships. And I'm talking about school leadership. You mentioned that we have the various committees, but things do fall back with the school itself. So that's where the principals are involved. So how important you see that part of it in terms of ensuring for the days of competition, discipline enforced, you know, fairness, the welfare of the students, and ensuring that they get back to their respective homes, etc., etc.
So the principals are involved in the school on an everyday basis, and they understand the psyche of the children. And what you find happening, because Intercol, it comes once a year, like Christmas. Throughout the school year, it is really, really important for the principals and even all the members of staff to impress on the kids the importance of the competition, but as well as the way they should conduct themselves when they go there to compete against the kids from other schools. However, one of the bigger challenges we have, though, is that sometimes when the kids go to the stadium and they get caught up in the hype, in some cases they might exhibit some behaviors that you never see in school before. So it's a challenge for us, but it's a very, very good thing. The principals are involved because we try our best. And so, for example, this year I received a call from someone from SGO who's doing the masters, and one of the things that they want to do is psychological support for our student athlete. So the arrangement would be they would be stationed somewhere in the athletic village, and the kids who see the need for it, the kids who are nervous, the kids who want to partake in it, they'll be giving them some form of psychological support, both before and during competition.
Mm-hmm. And that's for the students, but when it comes to the athletes, I'm referring
to the student athletes here.
Well, yeah,
That's for the
okay,
athletes.
because
Yeah.
I was also looking in terms of preparing the athletes themselves, which is a little more technical now, and I'm saying that because as the principal of as the chairman of GAPS and the principal of McDonald College, you have an intimate involvement in terms of the school's preparation. So you might have an idea in terms of some of the biggest challenges the schools face in preparing the athletes themselves for Intercol. You know, in terms of ensuring the logistics are in place, in terms of ensuring that meals are in place for this for the student athletes for over the couple of days, transportation, meals, medical support, all these things are things I'm certain you have to be on top of, even though you might have personnel responsible. Ultimately, the buck stops with you.
Yeah, well, that is correct. But on my end, it's not an issue because I've been involved. By the grace of God, I've been involved at Intercol at various levels. However, though, I must say from the private sector perspective, things have really, really changed, and we have been receiving a lot of support. So persons are coming on board, making donations to school with refreshments and such a concern. Last year, we got sponsorship from the IMA, and interestingly, they give us specific instruction where the funds are concerned. They ask specifically that these funds should be donated to the schools to help with the transportation costs as well as the meals. And that was done. So as we move forward, we have less and less burden and pressure on the schools to provide those things. However, what we encourage schools to do is to create a special committee. And I think most schools have that now as we speak. We have a sports committee where we have a lot of specialization. So eventually the pressure of preparing the team, going with the team, managing the team for the few days don't fall on one individual.
Yeah. Rudy,
But if I may add on to this question, how do you, as the president, engage the other principals to get the parents involved? Is there something where you guys bringing in the parents for a meeting, knowing the athletes that's going to be making it to the Intercol games and maybe speaking to them, or even prior to, or even in the beginning of the year? How do you guys engage the parents now?
Each school has an individual plan where the parents are concerned.
Okay.
And I must say, but the most successful schools,
yeah.
people always tend to gravitate towards success, and that is strange because really and truly, sometimes you could have success with or without certain person's support. But because of the natural way of things, you'll find the schools that are very, very successful, the parental involvement is great. But it's not something that we, as GAPS, we get involved in. Because let me tell you this. At the principal level, there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk. And there's still a lot of rivalry. It's in good jest, but there's a lot of talk. So sometimes where best practice is concerned, some persons may not actually share. So we allow each school to deal with that on an individual basis. Okay. And we don't deal with it in a general way from the GAPS perspective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Folks, greetings, family, and thank you, Mr. Andall, for sharing with us. Very much appreciated. That's from DMV, that's in Virginia area, Maryland area, somewhere there. What I want to
Michael, let me ask you a quick question. Let me go back to the track with one more question. Concerning last year, there was an issue with the 4x4. You guys never get to have a heats. Is that you guys fixed that problem from last year? So you're gonna have a heats and then a finals?
The heat for the 4x4 is always on the schedule. It's always on the schedule. Heat for the 4x4. It's always on the schedule. But as you say, the 3 days is all of a sudden the 3 days start feeling very small because generally I athlete will do 1, 2, and 4. And you have 3 hits for that. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Then they will do the 4x1 and then they will do the 4x4. So a lot of the times, as we get closer to the final day, they will just forgo the hits to help the athletes with recovery. But I don't know, but personally, like the 4x4 scratch.
You prefer the
like
scratch?
You like
I
the
love
scratch.
the 4x4 scratch. I love the 4x4 scratch. We know at the highest level, you do it in lane and whatsoever. But to me, the 4x4 scratch at our Intercol is the best excitement we could have.
But it could still be a scratch with 10 teams that have been.
Well, the scratch will give it the excitement simply because of the number of schools too.
Number of schools,
number of schools. Because you have in excess of 8, so you can let all the schools participate, have it in the scratch, and the best school wins. The best team. There are 2 suggestions there, two comments. One might be a suggestion, but before that, we have 4 trivia, right? We have trivia, and I want to just leave one with folks before we go on to those comments there. The first one is, in what year was the Intersecondary Schools Athletics Championship first held in Grenada, Intercol? Just put a comment below, and we'll just see who. In what year was Intercol first held in Grenada? What year? So
not in the 1800s.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that one.
No, you don't know what I'm saying. That my good friends up the hill, anytime we compare number of championships, I just say to them, you all were established in 1885.
Yeah.
And children going to school in
So let's see if the comments will come in. Here's the first. John Bracey said, why can't the allowable age for competition be reverted to under 20, meaning that the athlete cannot take 20 in that year of competition? Most islands have that rule for their sports. I feel like it also levels the playing field, because with other age categories, students are typically separated by 1 or 2 years, while with seniors can be separated by 4 years. Let me go. Why can the allowable age for competition be reverted to under 20, meaning that the athlete cannot take 20 in that year of competition? Is it our senior is under 20? As far as
under 21.
Under 21. Okay.
Yeah, that person is correct. He's under 21. They're asking for it to go back to under 20. Yeah.
They wanted to revert to the under 20. Okay. Yes. Meaning that you cannot take 20 at the year of competition. Yeah. What you think about that? I mean,
strangely, sir, over the last 10 years or more, most of the guys who compete at 19, 20, they don't beat anybody, if ever. No, we had a time where we had persons 19, 20, and they were the one who dominated. But the last 10, 15 years, the few athletes who end up in school at that age, they are not the outstanding one. And you could see it. Persons like the last few years, and we can call a lot of names. We have the guy from Carl Andall from SAS. We have Ethan and a few others. They were just like first year or second year seniors. We're talking about 17-year-old, 18-year-olds for the most. Yeah, so that by itself is not an issue, because there has been a lot of debates with this over the years. And one of the arguments for is because the Education Act allowed 20-year-olds to be in school. So persons were stating that if they are allowed to be in school legally, why you would debar them from participating in a school competition?
Yeah.
But it's funny you say that, Mr. Andall, because here they don't allow them to in Toronto, and I've reading this recently where there's a meet in New York, the high school meet at the New Balance meet, and I have an athlete who is in school, but she says she cannot compete because of the age gap. Even though she's in school, there's still an age gap. So if she wasn't born within that time period, she cannot compete. So, and I know the same thing here. They are putting an age onto it here. Even though you're in school, but you're not in that age gap, you wouldn't be able to compete. Especially in track and field. I don't know about other sports, but in track and field you can't.
So what is the advantage of that, though? What is the advantage of the age limit?
Because here, what we do here, we have grade 9 is Form 1 by themselves, and then you have grade 10 by themselves, which is the juniors, and then everybody after that is seniors. So you have that's the difference here. what we have here. Yeah.
So I am asking, what is the advantage? How would that benefit the sport? But the barring persons of a certain age from participating, how would that benefit the sport?
No
Because,
idea. Yeah.
okay, watch me. Look at Kirani. Kirani has a what? Was it a 18-year-old?
18 years old. Yeah. Yeah.
Won his first Olympic gold medal and he competed against guys in the 20s, the 30s. In my opinion, if you're good, you're good.
Yeah. Here is another. Good afternoon. That's from Mr. Adrian Francis. Good afternoon, Mr. Francis. Can J.W. Fletcher, Wesley College, Happy Hill Secondary School, among others, be considered as possible stayover for the athletes on Intercol days? This alternative arrangement appears to be most cost effective.
Well, I could respond to this. For years, Wesley College especially was used by schools from Carriacou, even school from St. Andrew, to camp. But of late, even the schools in St. George's start camping in their school.
Oh yeah, because I know Carriacou, for example. Yeah.
Yes.
And
so it's a good suggestion, but the schools in St. George's and it's easy. Listen, it's easier, and I will tell you why. When you have kids coming from different homes to compete at Intercol, it creates problems for you. You bring them in camp on Monday, even though GBSS I know goes in camp early also. You have more control over them than if they have to come from different homes, compete and return to the home. So it's a good suggestion, but most of the schools in St. George's, as we speak, they camp at the school during Intercol days.
Yeah, so right. So that creates it's a good suggestion, cost effective as you indicated, but since the schools themselves are now using it, they'll have to find, the other schools will have to find alternative venue or location. So going back to our what year was our trivia was Intercol first held in Grenada. Some of the suggestions, well, Edwin is probably just joking with you. He says 1885.
That's the correct answer.
Yeah, but
that's the correct answer.
Adrian Francis said 1965. Ryan Boyd also adds 1965 as the first year for Intercol in Grenada. And I think based on the program, what I've seen, I think it's Intercol, possibly 1965. But before we continue, I'll leave you with another trivia. Our trivia is how many lanes are on the track at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium? 6 lanes, 8 lanes, 9 lanes, 10 lanes? Comment below as well. How many lanes are on the track at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium? Is it a 6, 8, 9, or 10 lane track? Comment and we'll know. So while we're on that, Mr. Andall, what improvements can fans expect at this year's Intercol Championships? I know every year looking to do, probably something new or something better. So what can we expect?
Improvement in what areas?
Well, in any areas. Well, I know, for example, last year you started, for the first time, you started the flame, the torch run, for example, which to me was, very innovative in terms of the championships itself, the involvement of the various schools, and things like that. So bringing a level of, not just competition, but camaraderie among the athletes who will be participating in the various schools, letting even the public knows that it's not just about the competition itself. Outside of competition, it's healthy rivalry itself. What else can we expect over the 3 days, even probably prior to, during, certainly we know that we see the fireworks, and things like that. So, but is there anything that you can think of, or you all have discussed, or there's things under the wraps?
So you saw the torch run as an improvement to Intercol?
Well, an improvement in the sense of something that the schools have started, and I thought it's good. I know that from the GBSS itself, which I attended, I make no thing about that. But over the years, I've seen how when they have that torch relay, how it brings that level of rivalry among the various houses, the inter-house championship, right? Have the houses involved, things like that. So, and I thought having something like that for Intercol with the various schools, I thought that was very good. You know, if there's anything that can be done to enhance, to improve, you know, just do it. But I thought that in itself was very good. And I wish other schools can adopt that sort of, because, you know, the torch in itself, when you look at the Olympics and all these things, it's symbolic, right? Yes, it's symbolic in itself, and it's not just about the competition. So I thought the decision to have that for the Intercol was very good, and that's why last year I commended you folks for doing that. So this time I'm asking anything that's on the books that you all
when you said improvement. When you said improvement initially, I thought you were talking about the days of competition, because I see the torch run as an innovation. Mm-hmm. And it was an excellent one. So what we have done, I must say last year, it exceeded expectations regarding the reception to the public. Yes, it exceeded expectation, because remember,
that's good.
It was a first time thing and we had no idea how the public would respond to it.
Yeah.
Also, in discussions with the principals, you know, the schools who started the torch run, they were at a serious disadvantage.
Why?
Let me explain to you. So we started with Anglican High and some other school in St. George, and they had no template to look at. So they did something, and what we noticed last year, as it continues, as it keep on going on and on, it becomes more and more innovative and creative.
And improve. Right.
So this year, we're in a much better position because schools have already seen what I've gone last year. And I'm telling you, they are preparing. They are preparing for it. The schedule was sent out on the principal chat sometime this week. And as we speak, persons are preparing feverishly. However, though, we were aware of one concern. Last year, we find it took a little too long to conclude.
Yeah.
So, you know, as principals, we're always concerned with contact time and things per se. So what we have done this year, it will have more flavor than last year, but we are trying our best to ensure. So, for example, when it is in St. George's, within one day, we are hoping that it could be transferred from each of the schools in St. George's before we move to another parish.
And on the days of competition itself, do you think that, I know there have been improvements over the years, that it will be consistent in terms of managing the time that, you know, the championship ends on that particular day, when the first day, the second day, and the third day? I know years ago there was always concern about it, you know, being, you know, going beyond certain times and things like that. So, but are you confident that, based on how things have been going over the years in terms of the improvement, the management of the meet itself and things like that, so that we can expect basically on-time finish for the championship this year?
Very confident. Just to jog your memory, last year on the first day, we had a scare. We had a lot of rain, about 2 hours of rain before the start of the games, and buses. And initially we started about an hour and a half or 2 hours behind schedule, and yes, we were able to finish. I remember in 2024, on the last day, we finished before 5 o'clock. And I'm talking about all the competition finished before 5 o'clock, and we have to have the closing ceremony. So yes, we are very confident that we'll finish on time. However, the torch run, there's a new aspect we bring to the torch run. So after the torch run is concluded, on the day of Intercol, we'll have a special run from the Kirani to the stadium. And that will coincide with the opening. So that would be the closing part of the opening ceremony, and we'll light the torch, the one at the stadium, and that will stay for the rest of the games.
Well, I mean, I asked you a while ago about innovation and things like you all trying to keep that one on the wraps, man. You know. kind of jog your memory. That again to me, it brings the Rudian, it kind of jogs our memory. It brings sort of Olympic flavor,
Very much so.
me,
Very much so.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It brings out Olympic flavor, and it adds not just to the competition itself, but what I assume that the organizers are trying to achieve is unity. So as much as you will cheer on, your various athletes and schools, ultimately, it's a healthy rivalry among the students. And as we on that area, nice segue. How do you, and you again in that position as a principal teacher, one who has been involved in sports and not just track and field, but various sporting disciplines. How do you balance that high level of competition, which Intercol is, by the way, with the educational development goals of school sports?
But to me, Intercol is part of that product. So we cannot really separate Intercol from education, because as an educator, I always believe that, sometimes when we talk about education, persons always make reference to the academic. Education, in my opinion, is any aspect of life where you could improve, that could give you the requisite skills so that you can survive in the world. So to me, academics, sports, culture, the various aspects of life is all that is part of education. And as I spoke to earlier, sports, a sportsman should be a well-educated person, because you know what, in one game, in one season, there's so much lessons in life that you could learn that could help you to cope into this world.
Yeah, that's true. Rudian?
No, that's certainly true on that. I know we passed the torch, but let me go back on it again. Can you guys look to extend the torch run? One of the things I noticed, a lot of sports is coming up, and if the torch could be in that school in advance, way before, it kind of put a hype for the kids before the school games.
Strangely, as Master Bascom said, GBSS had torch run at MDC. We had torch run in the past,
yeah,
at our school sports. But you're correct. It's something that we could think about. Although I must let you know that this year we felt real constrained because of time.
Yeah.
And you feel it at the school level, as well as at Intercol level, because yesterday we had our school sports, February 13th. Normally, for many years, for decades, our school sport would be the end of February, the first week in March.
Yeah.
And I am telling you, after a while, the teachers started complaining. It's like they're not feeling the vibes. But yesterday they came and it went, and it was fantastic. So for this year, that is not possible. But I agree with you. When the torch is concerned, we could make it an integral part of all the school sports.
Yeah.
All right. You mean to tell me no one went down to the stadium and take a look and come back and let us know how many lanes?
I'm going to limit A and D right away, so I can help them. We can limit A and B. So so somebody, I'm helping you out.
If you're the price for that, go to the stadium already.
Yeah, somebody can run down to the stadium and just look and see whether it's at least it has to be somewhere towards the end, because definitely not 6 lanes, but
and it's not 10.
So like Mr. Bascom and Mr. Sylvan, in your opinion and your experience with sports in the diaspora, and asking you all the questions now, what can we do to improve Intercol based on the product that you are seeing? And Mr. Sylvan, I given a disclaimer. All remember our constraints. We are very small. We have limited resources.
That's right. And certainly, it's funny you said that because that's what my thought process was going to go. We cannot compare apples and orange, because this week I see our schedule our schedule for our high school championship came out already, and this is the first time I've never seen it so early. I've never seen it that early.
Mhm.
So the group who is doing it this year, because it moves around, right? They have point. That means they started when they know they are hosting, so they started planning from maybe September or maybe earlier prior to that. Because yes, we have a major sponsor. Our high school championship have a major sponsor for Nike. It's always this year is the contract that was signed, about a 50-year contract or something like that. So Nike is our major sponsor, but it's not enough. So you have to get the time
Mhm.
to put it together, because you are talking about 3 categories, and each category have all the events, and we have all of the events, but the pole vault, but the decathlon and the end. So we don't have those. And then we add and then we had para in it as well. So we have all the other events, and each one of them is 24 kids. So the midget boys is 24 in every category. The girls is 24 in every. So it's a lot. So our championship is 3 days. So certainly the planning is a lot. So just to see that. So my thing is that like my thing to improvement is early planning. You start early, you put stuff in place. That just my thing, because I cannot come. Like I said, if you guys have a major sponsor, then you guys are in in good runnings. So when you don't have that, you have to be able to work sponsorship. You have to be able to put things together. So that's my thing is early planning. And even with our big Nike sponsor, we still have to go for stuff, because we're getting about $50,000 from Nike, something to that extent, and it's still not enough to host the games like that, because, like I said, it's in different places, and all the kids are together, and so it certainly is a lot. The printing of the numbers and putting stuff in packages, it certainly is a lot, and I'm pretty sure you guys have the same thing, because you got to get the packages in, you have to get the numbers in the envelopes and packages and all this stuff. So it's quite a challenge. So my thing is early planning. You start early by putting things together. Yeah.
I have and probably I will share with you later today in terms of a document, because I put some things together regarding improvement of Intercol. That's just my thing based on what I have noticed prior to. I have not been physically at Intercol, for a few years. I probably just look at, the championships on, on the stream, and then speaking to some of the officials and things like that. So, however, I would say that some of the areas I think that they need to work on, and one has to do with, which I am very passionate about, has to do with the data and the records and history and things like that. So I think that to me is very important. You listen to the broadcast last year, and the information the broadcasters had with them, sometimes it was a bit outdated, because they did not have and I cannot blame them, because it's what they had in front of them, but the information was not updated. It was acknowledged after the meet that yes, the information needs to be updated in terms of the records in particular, because there's a difference between, you have stadium records, you have Intercol records, you have national records, all these, and you have to differentiate. Whether it's an Intercol record, whether it's a stadium record, these sort of things like that. And in some cases, they had what was national records, so they were comparing it, when it was not really need to compare, basically, because it's the Intercol championship. So they need to create what I would say a central Intercol database, right? To record by event and schools medal history and notable alumni, folks who have participated in Intercol before and might be around, you can use them for medal presentations, or even for the the broadcasters knowing that they're around, And one of the things, Mr. Andall, we may have to discuss in future, Intercol Hall of Fame. Listen, it's not hard to do. Intercol Hall of Fame and something somewhere at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium, And what you can do every year, you sort of have a segment celebrating past athletes and schools and whatever it is, like that, administrators, because there's a lull in Intercol on particular days. You can use that to have these sort of, activities. It's not that you interrupting competition itself, You can have, these are things that you can think about in terms of how we can make that, better. So the history and thing, and then the fun experience and media, I think a better, let's say, PA communication, you have, and one of the other things, designated, I always push for that, designated media zones for the photographers and things. Hate to see photographers running on the track and all sort of thing. That should be a no-no for Intercol, right? Intercol is streamed, and anyone, anywhere, any part of the world can look at it. We have to make it look professional and not just, hikey-vikey thing. And I want to give a little thing there because I want to encourage a little student media participation, I should say, right? Something I've been trying to encourage from various schools. If you know of anyone, and Mr. Andall, that's also for you, in your school who has an interest in sports commentary, sports broadcasting, touch base with either myself or Mr. Olivier, right? We have already recruited one already, a young guy who has shown interest and, reach out to the school, his parents and things like that. If you know of any students who have that interest, because the students can, give those students that sort of exposure, and they might be able to bring a certain flair, a certain level of interest about the various schools and things like that. So on the broadcast, we need to introduce those sort of things. So it's a lot, Mr. Andall, but certainly I will send those things to you. I probably will copy it to Ruben as well, because there's a lot of things, I have it in various segments, like the student athletes, welfare, just observations I've made over the years, and I wanted to, talk about it and share it and things like that. So some of them might be debatable and things like that, but my thing, particularly with the media and the data and the history and these sort of things, I think very important for the Intercol and sustainability of Intercol.
One of the things to Mr. Andall.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. One of the things too that we do, like I said, we have Nike coming in, but Nike also finding a way to make back the money. So what they do, whatever our logo is for the game, because every year it's a different logo, they have stuff printed that kids can buy. Now, there is nowhere else you can get that. You cannot go to another store and buy it. You could only get that at our high school championship called AFSA. There's nowhere else you can buy it. So that is also something that is significant to a lot of the students, because they may never go to AFSA again. It could be their first time, it could be their last year. So they have something that shows I was here in that time. So maybe something that you guys can even look at, having just regular t-shirt printing, and then you have a printing right there. They can put a school on it, they can put the events on it, but something that has your logo, Intercol logo on it, because they cannot walk into a store and buy it. It's something significant. It's something that would long lasting to say I was here in that year. So maybe something as a fundraising, because everything you guys doing, it is a cost to it. Something that could help you guys, but it also is a significant as well. To have something like that, I think it's gonna be really good, because I think you're gonna have a big seller, and you could have different things, sweaters or whatever it is. There's someone the kids want to have it to say I was here. I competed here. It's $10 a t-shirt, $20, whatever it costs. In that way, they have something, because they may never make it again. A kid could make it in grade 9 and from 1, and he may never make Intercol again after that. But you have something to say, I was here in that year.
Okay. But that reminds me of before I respond to that, reminds me of an issue that we're having of late. Very soon, a lot of products will come out for Intercol in the names of different schools.
Yeah.
And we have no idea about it, Mr. Bascom. How are we handling that?
So so that comes under the whole issue of the branding and all of that.
Branding, yeah.
That's why it's important that one of the things that that you all have to consider is ensuring that the property rights, intellectual, property rights adhere to. We have that in Grenada, and you have to ensure that if there's anything as it relates to the schools or Intercol, and as Rudian suggested, probably you can look at Intercol branding itself in association with all the schools, so the schools can benefit, right? Intercol branding itself, and therefore they have intellectual property rights. Ensure that anyone who wants to use anything related to Intercol per se, they have to get permission, and not just permission, but there's some form of remuneration and things like that. So I think that is the way you all have to look at it in terms of holistically, where we have Intercol branding, because some schools may not be in a position as other schools to do what you may want them to do.
Mm-hmm.
They may not have the resources, for example. So if you can do it, as a group,
Mm-hmm.
As an organization, you're protecting it, then that may be the path you may want to take in terms of protecting the intellectual property of the various schools. And Intercol in particular, I think that is something that you should look at.
And the same could go what Michael said to the actual school itself. Definitely, you could have that in for the schools as well, where others, outsiders, cannot sell your product without certainly going through proper channels.
But with the school concern, Mr. Bascom, a school is an educational institution and they have a brand. So, for example, McDonald College logo. Nobody affiliated with McDonald College should be able to take the logo.
Right.
A person do it for every year. Persons do it. You see products out there, and the schools don't know anything about it.
And therefore, the school has a right to take action.
Take action. That's what I'm saying.
The school has a right to. You should
take action.
As a matter of fact, it's something you can discuss with legally. You can discuss that with a lawyer. And most times there'll be something where you can cease and desist.
Yeah.
So you know what? We're gonna make somebody an example. Thank you. Make somebody an example. However, we spoke about the database, Mr. Bascom.
Yes, please.
Yeah, and I think it's really, really important. It's really important. But you see, some of the broadcasters, to me, to be a good broadcaster, you must have the previous knowledge. You must have knowledge about the games. And for things to be in context, you must be able to give it background. However, though, sometimes we go forward a lot in Grenada and we go back a lot. Because I remember, and it's years we're trying to get that going again, the Intercol preview. The Intercol preview by itself, I expected by now, Mr. Bascom, we should have like every single year, we should have preview for all the years. Because really and truly, the preview itself is like a history book.
Mm-hmm.
Where so in other words, when you do a preview this year, you talk about Rudian last year, he competed last year, and that. But what I noticed is that as Grenadians or even Africans, we love our history. And because of that, persons who go to Intercol, you get all fantastic tours, and you cannot see it on paper. I'm trying my best. I'm working with Alvin Clouden to create the Intercol preview this year. Previous years, we tried, and we were not successful because some of the information, they were not forthcoming from some of the schools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I still have a couple of. I'm saying I still have a couple of.
I would love to see them.
Yeah,
I had some and I lost them.
Yeah, I do have some there. I think the last one may have been 2015 or could be even later than that. Yeah. Yeah, but I do have a couple of those previews there. But yes, that's and I know even before that, even before Mr. Clouden was involved, I know Mr. Francis, Conrad Francis, who's the president of the Athletics
Yes.
Association now.
Mhm.
He himself used to be, involved in creating this, the preview by ensuring that he attends the various sports meets and looking at the athletes and, and at least writing up something. So when you go to Intercol, you have an idea. In this event, the 400 or the 800, these are some of the athletes you can look forward for, right? And something about those athletes, probably based on pre Intercol times. And now that we have all these developmental meets,
Correct. Very correct.
you have lots of information that you can provide, not just their school meets, because their school meets can be, at that time it was just their school meets, but now you have all these various meets now from since December, early January, that you can say, hey, based on performance, this athlete from McDonald College or this one from Bishop's College, they are looking as, championship material, blah, 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 and things like that. So, yeah. But
you know something that we miss badly? Channel 6.
Yes, certainly. Community channel. Yeah. Yes, certainly. And by the way, they do have lots of archive footage.
Who can I contact? Please let me know.
I will send you the contact. I will send you the contact. Well, community channel is now on the Flow, right? Because they are the ones who pay. But I can who can probably put you in the right thing. Because remember that 2016 4x4 relay that a lot of folks always showing and thing. Even though it's something that I got from the archives from Channel 6, I got that from the archives from Channel 6 at that time, because folks probably thought that's just another thing. I say, hey, that's something that can be kept there in the archives for history, and I think they do have quite a few. But that's something I will talk to you about after the program as well. Okay.
But how can you do something like a database where all the results from all the schools can be?
You mean all the schools?
No, you will get that. Schools don't want to give you results.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's one of the things that we also have here too. Every single school,
want to give you results.
Yeah,
many of the schools they're very reluctant to give results.
Yeah.
So that's why but as Mr. Bascom said, because of the mini meets, the development meets, we have data on the kids. Minus the school sports.
Yeah. That's that.
Yeah, but we got in Channel 6 though. Days of we winning Intercol. Channel 6 was a very, very important thing for me and Scholar. Because we religiously every single night we look at Channel 6 so that we could have an idea of who in Boca or who in GSS or who in GBSS or who in SAS whatsoever. So as Intercol come closer, we start assessing the competition. And Channel 6 was the one actually go to the school sports, do a report and show you some of the races.
Right.
But right now locally we have no coverage.
Yeah, that's
well, we have coverage. We have coverage because we have the live stream. But Channel 6 will normally they will do a summary, they will tell you about the record breakers or such. So they were really, really efficient.
Yeah, that's true. So these are things that we'll have to one of the questions I wanted to ask you about when you were talking earlier regarding the Grenada Association of Principals of Secondary Schools and Intercol is at any time, and I think we raised that last year and on previous programs regarding the principal or gaps being involved and trying to assist other sports discipline within the secondary schools. We know Intercol is the strength. Intercol is it, like boys and girls champ for Jamaica. That's the athletics is the big thing, but they also organize
All the other events, all the other
all
sports,
the other sporting,
yeah,
basketball,
football, netball,
football, netball,
cricket,
cricket.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they organize those things. It may not be at the level of the boys and girls champs, but they organize it. They have marketing strategies, all of that for it. I am asking that if you believe at some stage we'll reach where the gaps or whatever committee in place for gaps on behalf of gaps or whatever it is can manage and a well-structured secondary school sports system. So we have track and field, we have basketball, cricket, football, we have swimming these days, all these various championships where the Principals Association can ensure that it's managed and be sustainable.
Our model may not be the same as Jamaica, but I must say, from where I sit in 2026, the Ministry of Sports, they recognize the importance of involvement of the principals. So as we speak, I've been having talks with the organizer of the football tournament, as well as the cricket tournament. And as you say, we want to make it formal, where we could have that body responsible. The Principal Association represent the schools. We have education, and we even have the sports council. Because what I've realized is that sometimes we work in isolation, and we're trying to achieve a common goal. So a lot of the years, the issue that we're having is that fixtures might be made, and the person who make the fixture have no idea about the school schedule. They have no idea of the constraints that we may have. And it is really, really important that we make adjustment now, because I've been talking to the organizer of the cricket tournament. And as I said to him, 20 years ago, the landscape was totally different at the secondary school level where sports are concerned. And I'll explain this for you. In the past, CXC used to start in honors in June. So we had the second term and even portions of the third term to complete, let's say, for example, cricket. Right now, we in February. School will be closed on the 27th of March. We return in April. And as we return, CXC starts. So we have been having a conversation. I don't think as we speak that gaps might have the ability, but because we already have a structure where the Ministry of Sports is concerned, if they work closely with gaps, things would become easy. We also thinking about having games on play on over the weekend, especially on a Saturday, because we have more sport being played in secondary schools now as we speak, and we have less time. So exam starts in April. By May, exam will finish. The kids go home, and the term ends in July. So a lot of time is been wasted. There's a lot of free time for the kids when they don't do anything at all. So the conversation has been hard. So I've been speaking to the Minister of Sport, I've been speaking to the Coordinator of Sports, and I think everybody recognizes the fact that, hey, Principal Association need to be involved. But as regarding the Principal Association spearheading it, I don't really know how possible that might be as we speak.
Yeah. All right. You have another trivia here. Which school has won the most Intercol titles? Which school has won the most Intercol titles? And probably I made,
well, you
divided there, the boys and
Are you divided? Divided to the boys and girls?
Because the boys and girls, yeah. Which school has won the most Intercol titles?
Yeah. Some schools might start to combine the titles, eh?
Yes.
Remember, we have one school that won both
and
titles.
We have one school. They have one school who have so many titles on the women, and they have one school that have so many on the men, and some on the women. They might put it together.
Yeah, but naturally, because he said they winning most titles. He didn't specify.
Yeah, so
true.
Yeah. That should be that should be specified in terms of boys and in terms of girls.
Yes.
But some of the responses from the previous one regarding among the lanes, we have Rhonda Monroe says B, which she refers as 8 lanes. Akeisha Charles says 8. Margaret Bascom says 8, and Empress Charles also says 8. So
somebody went down to the stadium.
Sort of. Well, let's see. Yeah. So which school has won the most Intercol titles? Boys and then girls. Remember, boys and then girls. Mr. Andall, as we continue with the discussion and get ready to wrap up there, from a principal's perspective, what would you say? Both, well, not both, but what you say or you hope athletes can probably take away from the Intercol championships, regardless of medals. I know for some, being on the podium means a lot. And it means a lot in itself, But as a principal, what are you hoping that those athletes can take away from participating in Intercol besides, winning a medal?
Well, I would say just the opportunity to represent your school should give you a sense of pride. You have an opportunity to represent the school, because it's funny. We have all different school competition. We have debate, we have quiz or such. But the competition that would have the most attention being paid to is Intercol. So they should see it as a privilege, they should see it as an honor just to represent the school, first and foremost. And they should do that with pride. Also, on the day, whether the medal or not, they should be able to chart the course. They should be able to see where they came from. Because you know what, sir? My most outstanding sub-junior boy last year, he never beat anybody in primary school. That's one. Last year, he wasn't even close to the Intercol team. I don't even think he made finals at my school sport. But yesterday, Rudy, he broke a record.
Yeah.
And I would jog with your memory. He broke a record that was established in 1993. Mr. Bascom, that guy used to beat Rudy a lot. That's Nigo Swan. Rudy and Silver. Nigo Swan record was broken yesterday by this guy in the 400 meters.
In the 400? Wow.
And what I'm saying is that this child, from last year to this year, all he did, he got bigger, he got stronger, and he just cleaned up everybody this year. So when I keep participating at Intercol, sometimes it's not just whether you're medal or not, it's just about self-improvement. Right. So there's a lot of things that the kids will take away from, and sometimes, as I say, it's up to the principal and the teachers to show the kids who listen to them. If you work hard, and I always say that too, sports is like a bank, especially athletics. What you put in is what you get out. What will come out. So if you put $50 in the bank, notwithstanding interest, you should expect to get $10. So, and I've seen on many occasions, kids come into school, and because of performance at Intercol, or because of performance in sports, you're able to build the self-confidence, and eventually that will transcend to the academics and other aspects of their life. So these are some of the things that we could take away, because as far as I'm concerned, yes, the winning is the easiest part, but even the losers, you have to be able to get positives from them, from whatsoever the performance they had, to build their character and their personality.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see if we have some. Let me see. Yeah, I see some. I think some things coming up there.
We didn't see Panato today.
Yeah. So there's one. Well says St. David's Catholic Secondary Schools for the girls, and then someone says St. Andrew's Anglican Secondary School SAS for the boys for the Intercol titles, right? I believe the St. Andrew's Anglican Secondary School SAS and the Grenada Boys Secondary School GBSS are there, and I believe they tied after GBSS won last year. Yeah, I think they tied when they won. So this year will be more or less like the tiebreaker, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, will be.
It's not a tiebreaker, Michael. It could be a tiebreaker.
Well,
if none of them go to win. If none of them go to win, it will be a tiebreaker.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. If they don't win, you know, if they don't win, that's true. They have to win. Somebody has to win. Someone has to win. Someone has to win. So our final one will be name a Grenadian athlete who first made their mark at Intercol. That should be an easy one. I mean, name a Grenadian athlete who first made their mark at Intercol. So many, but I mean, just name one, you know. Yeah. So looking ahead, Mr. Andall, what does success for Intercol 2026 look like? What, in your view, a successful Intercol 2026, what it look like? At the end of Intercol 2026, you will say it was a success. What it is?
I would say outstanding performances.
All right.
No hiccups, no security issues, no safety issues. And generally, we should see an improvement in the performances of our kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Rudian, is there anything you're looking forward to?
No, certainly. I would say injury-free. I mean, like I said, the kids are out there representing the school, and I know sometimes we want them to run or jump or throw the best, and break records and so forth, but just being part of a team and having fun. So to me, I think injury-free to me will be, and as Mr. President said, no hiccups. That's always a challenge. You try and make sure that everything works well. We're going to pray that we have good weather. That's also one that we have no control over, but that's one you hope that could be a challenge. Because it's tough. I don't know what your rules are, Mr. Andall. If there's a lightning, I don't know what your timer for us is an hour. So if lightning comes during any competition, soccer or any sport, it's an hour wait. And even right after that hour coming is another lightning, is another hour. That is the rules out here in Canada. So we don't have a control over that. And that can be a big hiccup. And suddenly something that you don't want. So surely, yeah, that's what I want. I say injury free. I would like to see injury free, but watching the kids out there win, lose, or tie or draw, it's just fun just watching them. You gotta see they run Intercol record or not run a record at all, but just them out there having fun and trying their best to score a point for the school. It's what I'm looking forward to see.
Okay, Mr. Andall, at the start of the program, you said that tickets are on sale or went on sale. What information you can provide regarding tickets? I know their availability on GoToFed, but in terms of cost, anything like that, so?
Yes. I had that to talk about. So our ticket prices remain the same to last year. There wasn't any changes. The main pavilion we have, and I must say the different days, there's a slight difference in the ticket. So the main pavilion, season ticket is $60. On day 3, a single ticket is $35. On day 2, a single is $25. The secondary pavilion, day 1, $10. Day 2, $15. Day 3, $25. Students under 12, on day 1, 2, and 3 is only $5. The bleachers, day 1, $5. Day 2, $10. And day 3, $15. Season ticket for the bleachers is $25. Upper main pavilion A, the 1, $55, the 2, $55, and the 3, $55 remain the same. Upper main pavilion B, the 1, $50, the 2, on all days is $50. Lower main pavilion A, for the 3 days is $45. And we have lower main pavilion B, is $40 for the 3 days. And we also have finish line tickets. That's an initiative we started last year. I must say, initially we got some resistance because traditionally some schools have this section in the pavilion where they could sit.
Yeah.
But the Ridge School on the Hill last year decided that they would purchase that area. So most of the finish line tickets were
it's gone.
Just sit in there, before the space.
So they bought the rich school on the hill bought all the tickets, right?
Yes, the rich school on the hill.
That's okay.
To pay legal fees, so I can't call the school name, but the rich school on the hill, they bought out most of the tickets. So.
Yeah, and that's okay as long as it's so. That's all that matters. We get the money.
Well,
Doesn't matter who buys. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. But so as you say, tickets in terms of apart from Go to Fet, are there any physical
Grenada Optical, yes.
Grenada Optical, okay. Tickets
yes,
are sold at Grenada Optical.
Yes, and Go to Fet.
And Go to Fet, right. So students and the public, again, like last year, we urging folks to buy your tickets early and do not wait until a day or so before. I recall last year, there were folks who were asking about tickets the day before Intercol. Yeah, I mean, sorry about being that. I may have sounded a bit rude to some because I just refused to respond. Why would you wait the day before looking for tickets, whatever it is like that? Hey, we reached the point now where over the years, tickets are available long before, the event. Buy your tickets if you have an interest, Don't wait on it and then you
remember
upset that you cannot get a ticket or this sort of thing,
You buy a ticket online, you have it on your phone, you go to the gate, you just scan and that is it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Tickets are available. The average person has phone, they're on social media, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I'm telling you now, you can either go to Fet, look for Intercol 2026 and choose your area, buy your ticket. Or if you prefer to buy your tickets, physically, go Grenada Optical. They have in the city, and I think they also have a branch in Grandans. You can go there, get your tickets early, right? As we speak. And when we finish the program, if you want to purchase a ticket, you can go and purchase your ticket, right?
But as we see, and I say that all the time, Intercol is second to Jamaica, and I believe that. So now you're seeing the same how Jamaica have a lot of past students. They fly to Jamaica, and you see university coaches. They go down. They go for champs. We're going to start seeing the same thing, and we have started seeing the same thing in Grenada, where people book their flight to be in Grenada for Intercol. There are people there for that now, and like I said, it's suddenly,
there are folks I know from here in New York, for example, who are going to Grenada for Intercol 2026. In fact, I met at least two weekends ago while at the Independence activity, and we were talking about Intercol and preparations, and they were actually talking about having their tickets already to fly to Grenada. They were inquiring about tickets availability. So now that Mr. Andall I will let them know that tickets are available.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was saying. So that's saying that in terms of people will buy the ticket long before they actually step on the plane. So suddenly, like I said, when people are home last minute waiting to buy a ticket, that's on you. You got to stay on the outside of the stadium and listen, and otherwise we just what it is. So certainly you guys can go get your ticket and support. That's really what it is. Get your ticket and support.
Right. All right. So
Mr. Andall, quick question. We hosting character games right after this. How do you see the team looking based on from all the games you have seen, or are you waiting for the Intercol to see how our kids gonna look like for the Intercol games, for the character games?
How the team's looking? How the team's looking to me is not really what happened at Intercol games. It's a comparison between us and the rest of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So for example, I've been following you. You're getting time from Barbados, you're getting time from Bahamas, Jamaica, etc. So by national champs and Intercol, you start making the comparison, because you don't want to be in your sport and you feel, well, you're on such fantastic times and it's not comparable to the rest of the Caribbean. But generally, we have some good, we have some outstanding athletes. So, for example, as we speak, there was a young man in SAS who was a sub-junior last year, and he was showing over 55 in javelin. This year is a first-year junior, and he's showing in the 60s. Julian, he looks world-class. He's big, he's strong, and he's fast.
Yeah.
So he's one I expect to do well at Caribbean. We also have 2 jumpers at SAS, both male and female, in the triple jump and the long jump. So these are persons we expect to do well also. They come to mind easily. And I realize once again, they continue in the field.
Yeah.
We got it. As I said, we had mini-meets thus far, but it's until national champs and Intercol we'll be able to have an idea how well they improve, because we don't expect them to pick us yet. We still have Ita Sam who will be featuring, and a few other athletes. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right.
It's really good.
But certainly the Intercol will be a showcase for our athletes prior to the Carifta Games.
Carifta Games.
Yeah. So folks, it's an opportunity for you to come support your various schools, your athletes, and get a sort of pre-Carifta hype, you know, for because the most of the athletes who probably on the Carifta team, most of them, actually will be featured at the Intercol 2026. And Mr. Andall, and again, before you go, because I know it was only yesterday you had your school sports, and I know we spoke about that last year, and then I think you were on the program either in November, December, somewhere there. You still believe that your school, McDonald College, may consider having their school sports a bit earlier going forward? Is it something that you have discussed with your school fraternity, whatever, whoever it is, and look at the possibility of having your school sports a bit earlier? I mean, I'm just throwing it out to you.
Well, yesterday is the earliest we ever had it.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday is the earliest we ever have it. So what you find happening by the end of the season, we will be able to sit down and do a good assessment. Traditionally, we're doing it in March, and we always do it in March. But this year is the first time we had it in the middle of February. And we'll be able to assess the result, assess the performance of the kids when the season ends. But I must say, the GBSS having sports in November. Yes, GBSS has sports in November. You're playing to hear what I'm saying.
No, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you.
And right now, there's a debate on social media among GBSS past students, whether it is timely or whether it is too early. Because we don't get into that, but we know there's a lot of pros and cons of.
Well, to be honest, it was in early December, but okay.
I didn't hear that.
I say it was early December.
So what I'm telling you, by April of this year, by the April of this year, I'll be able to give you an assessment of how do we view having the sports so early. And if it works, if it makes a difference for us, then it's something we'll continue.
Okay, then. Just one comment.
Hold on. Before you go, a constraint we have in having the sports early is the football season.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Some schools, they have a shortened season because they start to play, and by the time they reach a certain stage, the team get knocked out. For us, we always go through right from October right to December. And what you find happening a lot of the times, most of our teams would feature in the finals. So that kind of really make it difficult for us to focus, to give the athletics the attention that it needs at that time. So that's a constraint that we have.
Okay. I don't want to miss out on that, but here is a comment. Hello, Mr. Bascom. Great program as usual. Regards to Mr. Andall. Remind him to keep up the good work, locked in and listening to the discussion, Brother Dominic Jeremiah. A past principal, and also a past president of GAPS himself, right?
Brother Jeremiah. Hello, Brother Jeremiah.
Brother Jeremiah is locked in and he's listening, and he wants to convey his regards to you, and tell you, to keep up the good work, Yeah. I guess as much passing on the baton to Mrs. Jeffrey, and then Mrs. Jeffrey to you, things like that. So certainly there's continuity, as we would say, right? Good afternoon to you, Brother Jeremiah. And I'm not sure if he was a bit enthused when you said one of the rich schools on the hill, because I don't know which one. All those schools on the hill. Remember that? All those schools on the hill. Even though he may not be there still, he may still
have no name. There is no name. There is no name.
I think you are safe when you say a rich school
on the hill. One of them on the hill. Yeah.
There are a couple of rich schools on the hill, right? On the hill. So they can't say, well, is this school you're talking about, that school? Because you could always say, I just said a rich school on the hill, right? We'll wait to see on Intercol which are the schools that showed up. Which are the schools?
Definitely. You'll see which color will feature the most on the finish line.
Yeah. But always a pleasure having you, Mr. Andall, and certainly we want to wish you all the best. I think once you have the support from the various principals and thing, Intercol, no matter what it is, Intercol is here to stay, and we know the support from the principals, from the teachers, the games teachers as well, the students, the alumni, and the public in general. Come out, support. Well, before you can go out and support, you have to buy your tickets as well, because the stadium can only hold X amount. Is there any time you wish that track could be in the cricket stadium?
Yes. In 2024, around 11 o'clock in the morning, Thursday morning, a principal called me and she said, Mr. Andall said that, she said, the police want to close the main pavilion. And I said, why? She said, it's filled capacity. I said, no, it's too early. They can't close it as yet.
That's at 11 in the morning.
An issue. And before you go, last year, last year, on the final day, by 7 o'clock, persons from St. David, persons from St. Andrew, line up to go to the stadium, and they costing me.
That's 7 a.m., right?
Yes, at 7 a.m. But the police said to me, the gates open at 8. And persons line diligently, adults line diligently to go to the stadium last year. So I believe this year by 6 o'clock we'll have persons lining already.
Yeah. And it's just sheer excitement, and that's why people just love when it comes to Intercol. There's this heightened expectation, and what is so special about the third and final day? What is so special about that? Can you answer that, Mr. Andall?
All of us could answer that. That's it. Listen, that's the climax, That's when who would win. That's when who would have bragging rights for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And it's great. Because you see, as we speak, for this year's Intercol, most of the senior athletes in school have left.
Right.
Because when you have seniors, then it's easy to predict. So this one is very, very difficult to call.
Yeah.
Because we have new persons emerging, and the senior, the junior, and the sub-junior category would make a tremendous difference. So this one is a special one. Once again, it is special.
Yeah, and you have.
That's why I say that tiebreaker may never happen.
Yeah, and you have history has shown that you can go into the final day as the leaders, and you may not win the overall championships because So that is what is the interesting part. And yes, you make a very important point there, because it means therefore that going into Intercol on day one, every school has a chance of winning Intercol 2026. There's no favorite as it is now, right? It's a, it's an even board, right? Schools will start pulling on points, especially in the field events on day one.
Yeah.
And then you will see who it is looking like, where they're featuring. And even because remember, over the years, after day one, schools like Hillsborough Secondary and Bishop's College will be leading sometimes. Going into day two. Because of the dominance in the field events.
And the field events,
Yeah. But then the big boys and girls will start, backing, coming into
those on the hill.
Yeah.
Those on the hill.
I don't just say that all of them.
Most of the big schools are on the hill, on a hill.
I'm telling you, those on the hill. Yeah. Isn't that good thing we kind of in a hole? Isn't that good thing we kind of down in a hole?
All schools, most of the schools are there. Yeah, but then on day two, the schools start backing and saying, hey, no, well, we are just there. Because certainly there are some schools that when it comes to certain events, they're very dominant. And somehow they pull their points there. And particularly in the field events. And we have seen that over the years. It's traditional that these schools will excel there. But that's about all, because then the other schools will start chipping until they,
And before I leave, don't forget, we have Western Games once again this year. Western Games will be on the...
Give us the
10th
date.
Of March.
On the 10th of March.
Which is,
March 10th.
Okay, so you have... So you have a meet. You have a meet today, right? You have the meet today.
Twilight Relays, that's at the 4
Twilight Relays.
Yeah. What time Twilight Relays start?
About 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And this Tuesday is the St. Patrick Paris Sports.
Paris Sports, on Tuesday.
Okay.
Mr. Bascom, we have a child up here. She's one of the fastest in the Caribbean as we speak.
In the Caribbean, you said?
Yes.
Tell me.
11-year-old.
11-year-old, yep.
So give us some more information. What's her name
Yes,
and why you say that?
She dominated the National Paris Games last year, breaking the records in the 1 and the 2 at under 11.
Mm-hmm.
So she's under 13 as we speak. And she has smashed all the meets she participated in thus far. She has smashed all the records. She's running faster than even the under 15 boys. And she's under 13 girl. She, I think, in the 100 meters. Huh?
Which school you said?
St. Patrick's Anglican. She's still in primary school.
Oh, St. Patrick's Anglican. Wow.
Yes, St. Patrick's Anglican. So she's one to look out for. I would send her stats for you after the meet on Tuesday.
On Tuesday. Yeah.
She's Jordan Kanhai. She is extremely fast. Yes, she's extremely fast.
Definitely someone we'll have to look out for. And so you said today we have the Twilight meet starting around 6 o'clock. Then on Tuesday, which is the 17th, we have the St. Patrick Brand Sports, right? St. Patrick's Brand Sports. Then on the 8th of March, we have the Western Relays. Or Western Games?
10th of March.
The 10th. The 10th.
Yeah.
So the 10th is actually a Tuesday. Right?
Tuesday the 10th, yes, correct.
Tuesday the 10th. Yeah. Is it Western Relays or Western Games?
Western Games.
Western Games. Okay. Western Games will involve the schools on the western side.
In the west. Yeah.
From
Happy Hill.
Including
Happy Hill and up.
Right. From Happy Hill to Montrose.
From
Happy Hill and up. Yeah.
So we have Happy Hill Secondary School. We have St. John's Christian, St. Rose Modern Secondary, St. Mark Secondary, McDonald College, and Montrose.
Yes.
Right. Wow. That's so lots of sporting action for St. Patrick over the next few days, I should say, because we have today, we have on Tuesday, and then within a 2-week period, we have another big Western Games. Nice to see Western Games back. I know they have been talking about the Eastern Games as well, but nice to see that the Western Games back on the calendar.
The Eastern Games, plans still are in place to have the Eastern Games this year. But it is different to the Western Games. Because the Western Games, we involve just secondary schools. But for the Eastern Games, they are trying to make it like a community sports where we'll have the secondary schools, primary schools, and even the clubs. So because of that, it's taking a little more time to plan it out. But Most likely, the Eastern Games might take place sometime in April after Intercol, after Games.
Right. Okay. All right, then. Thank you very much, Mr.
Andall. Before you go, before you go, one more thing before you go. Last year, just watching it from on because I had it on my television and watching, I was very impressed with the medal presentations, with the kids coming up medal. I wasn't impressed in the end when they was calling for the championship. They're representing the principal association. They're representing Intercol, and I think somehow we're hoping that this year it could be much better. I don't know if you have control over that. It wasn't present properly. And in my opinion, I was disappointed when they call a particular school, and the school was right there, and they got to call them a few times, and when they come, one person come, and it's a whole team that win, right? So I just think could be better, in my opinion.
So you mean more persons should come for the championship trophy? Is that what you're saying?
I think so, because it's not one person that win. If it's sub-junior girls, it should be all the girls who come sub-junior. It's a team thing. I don't think it should be one person. I think it should be a team thing. That's how I think. They're all taking a photo. It would be nice. In my thought.
The championship may be different, Rudian. Sometimes logistically, it's just for one person to go and things like that. So championship wise,
the reason why I say that, Michael, let me tell you why. Because they were taking a photo. So they're just taking a photo of one person. Yeah, it was a team.
Sometimes.
But most of the time, after the presentation, the person would go to the team with it, and then you take a photo of the team.
That's what.
There's no space. There's space for the washroom for the team to come.
For the team to at the end of the school sports, at the end of the championships, the championship team itself, whether it's McDonald College or whoever it is, they can have all the athletes and thing, and you have a granting. That's okay. Inside of that, and logistically, sometimes you may have things. Other athletes may, for some reason, having to do, warm down, ice, whatever it is. There are various things that.
No. I get that. And let's go back to another one again. The relays. In the relays, we only have one person collecting. Why can all four of the athletes collect on relays?
Yeah, well, logistically,
that is easy. That is easy to fix.
That is easy.
That is very
okay.
That's very easy.
So that's another one. I noticed a lot last year, and I think it'd be nice to see all four of them can be there.
You need a bigger rostrum.
Yeah.
You know that. So at least you have this space. You see how they do it in the
world. This space.
I think for the relays,
certainly.
That is and that means. But one of the things while you're on that is that and again, you as principal and GAPS, you may not have direct control, but the person who's doing the presentation should ensure that that's better management. Should ensure that the people who are coming up for the various presentations are available. So you ensure that. Okay, McDonald College, SAS, PBC, whoever it is, the team, we have the team, are you there? Are you there? So when you call, they come up, and then you call in, where are the athletes from whichever school, and, and you call in over and over. And by the way, these things are live.
But Mr. Malcolm, that should not happen because we normally have a holding area for them.
Well, so that's why I'm saying too, that there should be better organization from that aspect of it, and showing that before you proceed in making mention of the presentation, that they are available. Somebody should let the person know that, hey, yes, we're ready for that. We have all of them. It's like how you manage the races itself. Before you start a race, you go through the call center and whatever. Yeah. And you have all the athletes for the one.
And most of the times it's not reflecting in an event, but if it is reflecting in an event, maybe that presentation could take place at the next round, the next time around.
I think
kind of thing. So
that are easy manageable. It's just that
easy manage,
It's just the lack of communication. And I
Yeah.
think once they can iron that out, then that should be easy. But
Yeah,
once again,
my biggest, like I said, my biggest critic on that was the relays. I really would have liked to see our four the athletes, instead of they giving one person and they give them the rest in their hand. That's what I would like to see. Yeah.
so thank you very much, Mr. Andal, and all the best. And I'm looking forward to chatting with you some other time. Again, as I promised, I will send you some information that I have here. And we, enjoy the rest of the weekend, and particularly the Western Relays?
Twilight Relays today.
Twilight Relays, sorry. Twilight Relays.
Yes.
What a name.
Yes.
Twilight Relays. Yeah.
Twilight
That's by the
Relays,
time it's 6 o'clock. Thank you very much.
TalkSports, is a pleasure.
You're always welcome. Yeah,
All right, cool.
All right. Yeah.
So that's Mr. Carl Andall. He's also the principal of the McDonald College and the president of the Grenada Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, GAPS. And always a pleasure. Guys, listen. One takeaway we have from that is tickets are available, right? Yes. Because last year we had a program just before Intercol. It wasn't about Intercol, but we had some folks were asking about, tickets and where they can get tickets. Hey, I can tell you now, it's a month before Intercol. Tickets are now available. Get your tickets, and no worries. Rudy, and there's some things want to mention, as I indicated, our the folks who appeared on our program over the years, and they were awarded independence. In fact, there's a special ceremony. There's a special ceremony at the Governor General's residence sometime in the future where they'll get. But I'm speaking specifically of the Dr. Deborah and Stephen John, Mr. James Clarkson, Michelle Hercules, also Chenny Joseph. They all were part of our program. We interviewed them, some of them or the other.
Our program,
the Sri Lankan cricketers are traveling to Grenada, because the Sri Lanka women cricketers, I should say, because there will be women. Yeah, there will be cricket at the cricket stadium, Sri Lanka touring Caribbean, and all their matches,
the Caribbean,
T20 and one-day matches will be played in Grenada.
Grenada. Yeah.
So, folks, matches are free, right? Attendance free. Go out and support the women, particularly our home girl, Afi Fletcher, right? This may be Afi's last international series, right?
Yeah.
So I think folks should go out and support our players. Well,
our girl,
go out and support because it will be last, and I think certainly we want to ensure that happy. So, and also let me say good afternoon to Kenil Douglas. That's the young broadcaster I was telling you about. He has shown a lot of interest, Rudy, in broadcasting, and I've actually put him in touch with Mr. Richie Oliver, and he's getting the opportunity to do some sports broadcasting because, hey, listen, he's only a student, young, whatever, and that's what I'm trying to encourage other schools, other principals to, encourage the young ones who they believe have an interest in sports broadcasting, sports commentary, to be part of the program. And just to let you know, folks, coming up on our program on next Saturday, God's willing, we'll have Mr. Mike Sands. He is the president of NACAC. In fact, he will be in Grenada. He will be speaking to us live from Grenada. And he'll be talking about Carifta Games 2026. Mr. Mike Sands, the president of NACAC, will be our special guest come next Saturday, God's willing. It will be at 1 o'clock Eastern Caribbean time. 1 o'clock Eastern Caribbean time. High noon here in New York, Toronto, and in, North America, I should say, eastern part of North
America.
Eastern time. High noon time. So Mr. Mike Sands will be our guest. He'll be talking. He'll actually be in Grenada, meeting with the organizers, the LOC, and he'll be giving us an update as to what is happening regarding Carifta Games 2026 taking place in Grenada. Yes, folks. So, Rudian, just a wrap on our program for today.
Yeah, no, certainly. It was always a good pleasure being with you. And like I said, I'm looking forward. There's a lot of sports happening, and I'm really pleased and happy to see that, So certainly, just how it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, Rudian. All the best. By the way, enjoy
That was a pleasure. Thank you.
the Independence Gala in Toronto this
the gala?
weekend. Yes.
Tonight.
Independence Gala
tonight
in Toronto. All the best. Thank you very much. Yeah. All right, then. So that's Rudian Silva in Toronto. As indicated, it's the Grenadians. Well, it's a special because it's Valentine's and it's also the Independence Gala taking place in Toronto today. So folks as they will say, looking out tonight. Thank you very much, folks, for being part of our program. Always a pleasure. And as indicated, Mr. Mike Sands will join us next week, God's willing, for our program. He'll be speaking about the preparations for Carifta Games come the Easter weekend in Grenada. He'll be speaking to us live from Grenada next Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern Caribbean time, 12 o'clock Eastern time. Join us for that. It will be an interesting discussion to find out what is happening in terms of preparations and any questions you have regarding the Carifta Games and such in terms of the organizing, and things like that. Any concerns you invited to let us know, and you can join us and ask Mr. Mike Sands whatever questions you want. Okay. So what happening again? So Twilight Relay is on at the Fore Recreation Ground later on at 6 o'clock Eastern Caribbean time. And then there's the Parish Sports in Patrick Parish Sports come next Tuesday, Fore Recreation Ground. And then on the 10th of March, that's a Tuesday, there is the Western Games at the Fore Recreation Ground again. So lots of sporting activities, particularly track and field, taking place in the historic parish of St. Patrick. Once again, thank you very much for joining us and all the best. Have yourself a pleasant weekend. And for those of you who are into Valentine's, happy Valentine's Day as well. And do enjoy the rest of the weekend.